come out to rejoice with the governor. Some people will still have some dissenting, perspective as far as that is concerned. So that's the reason we're going to discuss that on the show this evening. Let me start from Mr. Okelwo. Lucky Aiyedatiwa, affirmed duly elected as the governor of Ondo State. Does it end there? What next? What does the victory at the tribunal, what does it imply?
You see, before now, there used to be crisis during election. Gunshots, burning of tire, burning of houses, what have you.
1983.
Yes, even 1993 during the June 12 struggle. So now we have election precision tribunal, and this has given hope to winners, giving hope to losers. Or if you have grounds against the conduct of the election or the qualification of the candidate, you go to election petition tribunal and ventilate your anger. Now, sometimes it is not even the conduct of the election that will be challenged. It can be the qualification of the candidate. You know, I know that President Longe will tell light on this.
As it happened in Bayelsa in the case of
Didi and Leon. Are you getting it now? So it wasn't even the PDP candidate that went to court. He has lost and he has gone back to his home. It was internal crisis within APC that led that threw Didi up. So that is that about that. But what I'm even saying, in essence, is that before now, INEC had the power to disqualify candidates, but it doesn't have it again. Now it is left for the courts to do. So now, if you go for an election and you know you are not qualified, and the other candidates can prove that you don't have that certificate, or you are not what you are during the election, then so there are a lot of reasons people go to court to challenge the election of any candidate. Now, all those things that the candidates, there are about 5 candidates that challenged that election, all they threw up were trashed by the Election Precision Tribunal, headed by Benson Abudu. So he has trashed them out, but there is still room for appeal, even to Supreme Court. And mind you, before now, it was Election Precision Tribunal ended at appeal courts, but now it has gotten to Supreme Court. So there are still 2 steps, 2 hurdles to cross. But if it were to be me, I would say sometimes it's a needless distraction that is not necessary. Let us look at it. The election is gone. Last year, November. Now we are in June. We are still challenging the election of June, where we are looking at another election around the corner. So I think we should learn how to accept.
Let go,
and move on. That's my own opinion about it.
Well, let me start from where you stopped. We're already in June. The election was held sometime last year.
November 16.
November, okay. Lucky Aiyedatiwa was sworn in on the 24th of February this year, more than 100 days in office. Yet some people still approaching the court of law. There's nothing you can do about litigation. There's practically nothing. That's your area. But I want to find out from you, how do you reflect or how do you react to the ruling of the tribunal?
Thank you. The governorship election was held November 16, 2024. And Honorable Dr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa was declared the winner on the basis of the overwhelming mandate given to him by the good people of Ondo State. Parties and candidates that were not satisfied, as provided for in the law, have the legitimate right to ventilate their grievances by seeking for redress in the law court. But as far as the electoral law is concerned, the first stage is the electoral tribunal. And sometimes, people pursue their own interest or party interest to the detriment of the public interest. And I believe that from what, not even ordinary belief, is an affirmation that the good people of Ondo State have actually, in the affirmative, endorsed and voted for Lucky Orimisa and Yidatiwa overwhelmingly. And from the proceedings at the tribunal and the pronouncement of the tribunal, you could see that at the end of the day, though it is the legitimate right of the parties and the candidates, but the court came to the conclusion that those parties and candidates had actually wasted the precious time of the court. And specifically, the court ruled that for the SDP and APM and cases were more or less useless. APM, that it was a useless petition. That a waste of time, that court is not the Father Christmas. That will just come and argue the case on your behalf. No, it is what to present before the court that will be the basis of the judgment. And don't dump documents before the tribunal, and you expect not back up with facts, not evidence, and not to substantiate your claims. Because all the grounds that could be the basis for actually reversing the declaration of the governorship as far as Ondo State is concerned were not substantially proved before the tribunal. And in the wisdom of the tribunal said, no, it cannot have the letter of even the PDP. Is it the same trend of argument that there was no sufficient facts and evidence? And what the electoral law now requires is that if you are proving that there's rigging, it's not easy to prove that the election is rigged. And that is the mistake most of these lawyers who are standing in for candidates and parties. If you want to have your way before the tribunal, you prove to the tribunal, you prove to the public how you have actually won, from unit to ward to local government to the state coalition center. This is my figure. But when you make a general statement, a sweeping statement, and because of frustration, because of bitterness, and it's not the business of the court. The tribunal is not impressed by your sentiments
or emotions.
Or emotion. It is what you present before the tribunal or the court. That the court will be the basis of the judgment. Judgments or pronouncement of courts are based on facts and law, not on emotion, not on the basis of a sentiment.
We have cases like that. In the case of Fayemi against Shegun. In the case of Olusegun Mimiko and Olusegun, they were incontrovertible evidences before the court, and so the court ruled in their favor. But what you are saying in this case is that they just dumped their papers.
No, let it just.
No. I've not even landed.
Okay,
what I'm trying to say is that this is just from what has actually come out from the tribunal. It's a big lesson, and it has added value to jurisprudence in terms of litigation on electoral matters. For me, as a lawyer and a political analyst, those parties and candidates that have gone to tribunal, they have helped to enrich our jurisprudence. But it is also a lesson to them and those who will be aggrieved in future that they must have credible facts, credible evidences
before approaching the
tribunal, because me, I'm a lawyer, and most lawyers, bread and butter, they want to have their daily meal. And candidates of parties have to be very, very careful. And in most cases, you even discover that it is the parties or candidates who also put pressure on the legal practitioner. So I just want to do something. Just you must, if you stand here and if you refuse, the law will also cut on the web that you are the concealment of maybe in bracket crime. And on the basis of that, the lawyer has no choice than to what? To stand in to represent you. But the lesson from this one is that the parties and candidates that are involved, we are brothers, and let them respect the mandate of the good people of Ondo State that have been graciously, by the grace of God, given to Loke Orimisa and Yedatiwa. And he has extended the hand of fellowship that, oh, everybody should come on board for the purpose of having a new Ondo State. And you could see what he has done within the 100 days. The governor was not even distracted with the tribunal matter.
Okay, you want to add your voice to what?
Yes, just want to say, because when I was in the courts, so I followed up. APM that we said didn't even have a candidate. You see, you don't have that was what the tribunal said, that you don't have a candidate. Now, who benefits from your petition? Before you can file a petition against the conduct of election, you must have a candidate. You should have a candidate as the party just filed.
You cannot file on behalf of a candidate or on behalf of a particular party. The party affected must have
that you said it enriched
jurisprudence.
Legal jurisprudence.
Me, I'm a journalist and I saw it and I also learned. There are issues that were formulated in each of the other four petitions, and I learned from it. One is that when you are alleging crime, you must prove beyond reasonable doubts.
Exactly.
Without proving beyond reasonable doubts, it's like you are just mere, what they call mere academic exercise. So we learn every day. So that's why I agree with Barrister Philip that Felix, sorry sir, that it has enriched jurisprudence. It has also enriched those of us who are journalists there. It has even added to our dictionary and added to our knowledge.
Even the politicians themselves.
But let me find out from you. Immediately after the ruling by the tribunal, we had an impression as if that was the end of it all. That is no appellate jurisdiction, because people rolled out their drums, they started dancing around. It gives an impression that, okay, it ends here. Does that mean that there's no appellate jurisdiction? The party on the receiving end cannot proceed, go to the appeal court, and maybe eventually the Supreme Court?
As far as that tribunal judgment is concerned, the only candidate and party is that of PDP and Agbola, that their lawyers said, oh, they've consulted their principal to know the next line of action, because there is a window, another window, that is the Court of Appeal, that they will appeal the judgment of it is their legitimate right. But what is so critical is that of the tribunal. And those three judges, they have actually done very well in terms of making sure that everything is so clear and well presented without sentiment. Since that particular period, the judge patiently analyzed all the various issues, like what my colleague said. A lot of ratios were advanced that will also enrich the legal profession, so that it is another step is open to the PDP and is a candidate to appeal to higher courts. But that one will not.
SDP also indicated interest.
SDP also indicated interest.
Yes.
Now, before I rest my case on this particular issue. Now, the election was all about the governorship candidate and his running mate. for PDP, for APC, for other party.
Yeah.
Now, the APC, the running mate of Agbola Ajayi, Fesi West, has now moved to another party. So how is he going to do that if he wants to, seek appellate jurisdiction on this particular issue?
That is one of those things we are saying. And, you know, the deputy candidate is an associate of the governorship candidate. And there is no way you can fly or you can proceed.
So he's dead on arrival.
He's dead on arrival.
And let me just correct that, sir. The deputy is not a party to the suit.
Okay.
It's not a party to the suit. It is PDP, Agbola Ajayi versus INEC and the candidates. So APC and the candidates.
But is the suit about just
No, let me explain
one
something
person?
to you. Because from my experience there, you know, I will give you one example. That of Barrister Gbenga Idema. The party withdrew, so the case fell.
Okay.
This one, it was not even a party at all in that suit, in the initial suit. So it could be anything. We are not saying the merits or the merits of the case. No, far from it. But that because the deputy has withdrawn, doesn't matter in this case, because the deputy is not party to that suit. And thank God he knows that if you are not a party to a suit, you cannot benefit from it.
But the other leg is that as long as it's not a party to this, because ordinarily it's supposed to be a necessary party. And if it's a necessary party to the supposed suit, and it's not actually coming, and it's going to have a fatal effect on the overall judgment. Because at the end of the day, the Court of Appeal of the Supreme Court will say that's okay, where is your deputy? And on the basis of that, the judgment may not be in favor of the governorship candidate.
Okay, gentlemen, let's move on there. We want to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about June 12th. Stay with us on Viewpoint. Welcome back to Viewpoint, coming to you live on Osrc television. Well, my team of eggheads, Mr. Dr. Okewo, and of course Mr. Felix Alunge, they're still very much around. We're moving on now, and June 12th, that's what we want to talk about. Exactly 32 years on Thursday, we had more or less the fairest, the most credible, the most transparent election in Nigeria. Unfortunately, it was annulled by the junta of General Ibrahim Babangida. Well, it gave so many funny reasons which did not go well with a lot of people. People came out to protest. The man at the center of it all, MKO Abiola, whose chant was all over, from Sokoto to Akwa Ibom, from Lagos to Borno, it was MKO, MKO, MKO. He won by defeating Tofa in that election. He was incarcerated. Eventually, he died. Well, quite a lot of people also were on the receiving end. Kudirat Abiola, one of Abiola's wives, was shot and killed. We had Alfred Rigwani, who was assassinated. Some people were just very lucky. And some protesters also died. Anyway, let's talk about June 12. Let me start from you. June 12th. It's going to be 32 years on Thursday. What are the lessons that we as a people have learned since that election was annulled?
I will say something that is a bit funny. And it's not to castigate any president. The major beneficiary of that June 12th was Chief Olusegun Obasanjo.
How do you mean?
It was because of June 12th that he became the president. He was in prison and he was brought out, and they wanted to pacify
The
the
Yorubas.
Yorubas.
Yeah.
And they brought him under the platform of PDP, and they brought, he was then Chief now Anoba Olufalaye as ADAPP's candidate, you know. So they contested. He was declared the winner. I wouldn't know whether or not he won, but he was declared the winner. But throughout his 8 years period, he never recognized June 12th. He never gave it a thought. Ditto for his successor, late Musa, late Yadua.
You didn't have much time.
2 years is a long time. In months, it's enough to get OND. 2 years is enough to get OND. So he could, if he had shown interest in recognizing June 12th, it would have been a different thing. Okay, if he had no interest, what of his successor, Goodluck Jonathan? He spent 6 years. He never declared holiday. It was immediate past president, Buhari, that gave recognition to June 12th. Now, June 12th is being declared as a holiday by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is a product of that struggle as well. So he will see, yes, people suffered, people lost their lives, people went to prison, people went on exile.
And Nadeco members.
Yes, we still have people like Baba Bonigi, who was then referred to as Nadeco Bishop. We had then many people who were incarcerated, who were punished, who were harassed.
Hebrew was shot.
Yes, so many people. So this president, he ran out of the country, and many others. So now he gave it the teeth, he gave it legal teeth. Apart from Buhari declared MKO as a president-elect, as a president. But he was now being recognized as president. But no period of no tenure. But it has been, that has solved a particular major problem. Now we are now recognizing June 12th as public holiday. Is to evoke the emotion of people that yes, I have struggled, or the struggle of heroes past are not been jettisoned. I think I love the way the federal government under the leadership of President Tinubu is handling the issue of June 12th, and states too are also doing the same thing. So I think it's the right step in the right direction.
I want to go with you.
Yeah.
2 years is enough. I'm not sure you're going to spend up to 2 years. But then, when Gowon became the head of state in Nigeria, in the first few weeks, he made so many decisions. Like Obafemi Awolowo that was in prison, somewhere in Calabar, he brought him out. He took so many far-reaching decisions. Obasanjo would have done that. So what do you think was on the mind of Obasanjo? Why didn't he recognize? They're from both the same state, Ogun State, but Obasanjo,
of the same tribe.
The same tribe, Yoruba. Obasanjo never ever recognized Abiola as the winner of that election, and people, they took that against him.
For me, I don't want us to look at it from the personal perspective. but we should concentrate on the issue of what are the benefits derivable from June 12 being the Democracy Day, as declared. Everybody will know the antecedent of Obasanjo.
What is that?
It has been that as far as Yoruba is concerned, for me, from my little experience of history, he believes that is the overall. Any other alternative?
People see him, this is not the crux of the matter anyway, but people see him as a detribalized Nigerian.
It's not let me tell you, before you come from somewhere. And even as a matter of fact, we are not asking him to promote Yoruba sentiments at all, but for him to do the right thing. Are you getting now? Yeah, what is artisanal means, when a Yoruba person is coming forth, instead of supporting, it's on the other way. Even to the president. I think that one alone should be enough. But for me, as far as we are concerned, we need to appreciate Buhari for making June 12 as the Democracy Day as against
May 29.
May 29. Because the major actors and players of June 12, Obasanjo decided to suppress history and see himself more in khaki than in Agbada, as far as democracy is concerned. And the essence of this June 12 is to actually let the present generation of youths and leaders know what actually transpired and why it should be June 12 as Democracy Day as against May 29. Because democracy is not about ballot box. It's not about voting alone. It is about the personality involved and what the person actually stood for. And what he canvassed, and what were his policies and programs as contained in his manifesto. You could say that Abiola is our man, no? Hope 93.
Yes.
You see, even a child of 1 year, you see how we thinking all those things has gone into the psyche of everybody. And legitimately, Nigerians kill in the sun to exercise
their franchise.
Of 24. I think that is it.
Yes.
And it was like a festival period throughout the length and breadth of this nation. And even Tofa, that was the candidate for the NRC, was also defeated in Kano.
Yes.
So that it was a mandate freely given by Nigerians, but it was truncated by
the junta,
by the military juntas. But behind the scene, like what Babangida said, that is not to be blamed as far as, though he took responsibility for it, and which I actually appreciated, but it was too late.
Too late.
At least he has done the havoc to the detriment of
more than 30 years later.
More than 30 years later, like that, it is you have killed the soul of Nigeria, and you cannot bring it back. And it's just like, okay, let's forgive as far as we Christians are concerned. But the essence of June 12, the history must be told to the present generation. There must be public lectures, symposia, and everything, village, town hall meetings, for not just going to the stadium and march or declaring public holiday alone. Even the June 12 should also be in the curriculum, to be taught at various levels, so that the present generation will know what it entails to be a good leader. You have to prepare yourself, because Abiola actually prepared himself very well. And that's why I'm telling Nigerian youths, not too young to rule. It's not saying that, the moment you graduate the first day, I want to be a councillor, I want to go into the assembly. You must prepare yourself for leadership. And that's what Abiola did. And that's what even Donald Trump did. Donald Trump made it in the industrial sector. And now it's okay, making use of that knowledge to galvanize support, that has the capacity. And the same thing Abiola did. But like what Yoruba will say, one ole, lo mese ole, lori akpata. I know he was also killed by his own friends. They know him very well. He knew them, and they also knew them.
He fraternized with the army.
Yeah, fraternized with the army, and they know the type of. Maybe this man is likely to pretend, and the best thing is okay. Let cut him short, so that his vision will not come to reality, because it's likely to maybe along the line for them they are going to pay dearly for it, because there are some things that may not be open to us. But what I'm trying to say is that the family of Abiola should be appreciated and should be compensated. So though Abiola has been declared as president-elect, okay, but that one is not sufficient.
Okay, what have we done for the family of MQ Abiola? MQ Abiola that died in jail during the time of Sonny Abacha. Oh, he died. Oh, he was actually incarcerated by Sonny Abacha. He died during the time of because it was Abacha that died first. Now, what has been done for Kudirat Abiola's family, for Alfred Riwani, a person like Ibru, a lot of people, many people who had to even leave their homes, a lot of people lost one limb or the other. During protests, many people died. Tell us, have we done enough for such people, their families?
For the memories?
For the memories.
I don't think so. But we have started from a step. You know, a million miles journey begins with a step.
But it has to be swift.
Yes, but, you know, if you read the paper last week, the family of Abiola demanded for 43 billion naira as compensation for the loss of their breadwinner. The man's businesses crumbled. All things he had, his children were scattered. He never, he never planned to die.
Lost wives.
Sir? He lost wives, yes. So that's why the family demanded for 43 billion naira. Yes, the federal government may not give that money, but they should look at a way to compensate the families of those who lost people during that struggle. I don't know if Riwani's businesses are still alive, because it was a sponsor of Nandeco struggle then, and that was why he was killed. Ibru, because he had a newspaper, and you know why it's pro-democracy newspaper, they had to shoot him. So there are a lot of people that lost limbs, lost lives. Lost
Olu Onagoru lost his son, Tony.
So there should be a way. Thank God that I said it earlier that this president is a product of that struggle. So he should look at a way to compensate those people who were in the trenches with him. Even those who didn't die are still alive, like Bishop Bolade Gunigi, should be brought on board and given a pride of place. Baba.
No, there are many of them.
Many of them, Baba Falaye,
Tinubu.
many of them should be
fashion
yes. Must be, all of them must be taken care of by the system, because they are products of that struggle.
Well, quite interesting. Now, let's look at our democracy.
Yeah.
1999, not truncated. We call it nascent democracy. How far have we gone?
Thank you. 1999 to date.
26 years.
26 years. Yeah.
Thank God for June 12.
Thank God for June 12. And
it paved the way, more or less.
Paved the way. And what you can, for me, we have experienced participatory democracy, the involvement of a larger population in the process of selecting leadership. Though it's not perfect, but it is an improvement coming from the background of the military and going through the various elections since 1990 to date. And there is political enlightenment and sensitization, because all the who's and cry today is as a result of people getting more enlightened and more conscious about their rights of participating and benefiting from the system. And also thank God for the social media. But on the aggregate, that for the politicians have been able to sustain this nascent democracy, can you no longer even call it nascent again?
No, not at
it
all.
has matured.
Yes.
That, but what we need to do is that let's continue to wobbling and stumbling, and with time we get it right. And thank God, what the National Assembly is trying to do is to make sure that we have certain reforms in our electoral act. Because if we don't get it right politically, particularly the process of political recruitment, there is no way we have economic prosperity. Because it is when we have the right leader that particular right leader will come up with policies and programs that will be to the benefit of Nigerians. Whether we like it or at least from the aggregate, we have gone so far, we have tried in terms of infrastructure development. Because this country is very large. From Sokoto to Cross River, from Meduguri
36 states and the federal capital.
We need to appreciate the past leaders and the current leader, that all of them are trying as far as Nigeria is concerned. It cannot be Huru for today, but tomorrow, with all the efforts, let us stop the idea of blame games, because all of us are guilty as far as the Nigerian project is concerned. At my own level, what is my attitude? What is my level of commitment? And for me, people sometimes blame, oh, Tinubu is this, Tinubu is that. But go to every state of the federation. They are appreciating their governors, what they have done. If Governor Idatiwa is doing well in Ondo State, and Makinde is doing well in Oyo State, Eno is doing well in Akwa Ibom, and like other governors across 36 states, and you are saying Nigeria is not moving. What Tinubu has done is to give leadership direction, because it's not easy. He is the first president that has actually come up with the idea. It's okay, let us build a new foundation for Nigeria.
Okay, because of our time, quickly I'm still coming back to you. I want to find out from you. He just mentioned the name of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, who recently defected from his party, People's Democratic Party, to the ruling APC. He's the second governor from the South now to do that. The first person to do that was the governor of Delta State, meaning that APC now controls the majority in that geopolitical zone, that is Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, and of course Edo State. So what does that portend for a democracy?
You see, I used to say it that movement in and out of political parties is their inalienable rights, and that a party or that a governor moves from one party to another does not change anything. In 2015, I mentioned it somewhere, Mimiko was in Labour Party. He defected to PDP. PDP lost that presidential election in Ondo State. Ditto for other states. In Delta State in 2023 election, the vice presidential candidate and the governor were from the same Delta State, yet they lost. They lost the election. Obi won the presidential election in Delta. Even he won in Lagos State, where we have the presidential candidate. And so I think, like Pastor Lunge said, that they should do well for their citizens. Jumping from party to another doesn't solve our problem. In fact, it adds to it.
Well, what do you have to say to that in 1 minute? From
the issue of defection, based on constitutional provisions, Section 40, freedom of association and assembly. It is their legitimate right to belong to any political association. And the issue of defection, like we have said, it carries a lot of burden on the ruling party. That APC must go back to the drawing board and to make sure that he has to work assiduously and to surely ensure that all this defection, is it local? Because politics is local. They must not look at defection at the top level, but they must look at it from the grassroots. There must proper interface to ensure that, oh, there is grassroots mobilization for the victory of the party. And people are just saying that the issue of one-party system they're talking about, you know, we Africans, the nature of our democracy in Africa, our democracy is even more matured than that of Western democracy, but we don't realize where we are coming from, because African political thought, we believe in politics of consensus.
Mr. Felix Alungi, I want to thank you for joining me on the show. Our time is up already. Thank you so much for joining me on Viewpoint. Thank you immensely.
I really appreciate it.
Well, Mr. Tope Okewu, thank you as always for joining me on the show.
My pleasure.
I'm afraid our time is up already. Thank you as always for joining us on Viewpoint. If you have enjoyed this edition of the program, make sure you join us same time next week. On behalf of everyone here, my name is Akintunde Akinshemola. Enjoy your evening. Bye for now.